What's going on? Alex here, and today I'm answering your career questions from Reddit. And this first question has to do with enrolled agent versus CPA. Is it a good idea to become an EA before a CPA? Let's take a look. All right, this question comes from Pito404 and goes as follows. Is it worth becoming an EA, otherwise known as an enrolled agent, if I eventually plan to become a CPA? Currently a college student, and I'm thinking maybe an EA credential might be a good resume booster. Any other benefits or a waste of time? Great question. Now, I happen to have a bit of insight in this area because I just so happen to be both an enrolled agent, EA, and a CPA. And actually, I became an enrolled agent after becoming a CPA, which is not a traditional track. So I know I'm going to get flack from a lot of my CPA compadres, comrades, whatever you want to call it out there, because we like to have the perception that we are the foremost tax experts and nobody can compare to a CPA. All right. I always thought the same thing myself. I have to break that up a little bit. Okay. And what I'll say is the CPA exam is difficult. It covers a wide range of topics, but in reality, the portion of the CPA exam that focuses on taxes is half of one section of 4 sections of the exam. So there's 4 parts, at least there were when I took it. I mean, back in the dinosaur ages, there were 4. I don't know how many parts they have now or what crazy things they did with the CPA exam. But anyway, back in the day, there were 4 sections, and the half of the regulation section, or REG, whatever you want to call it, had to do with taxes. The rest had to do with law, and the other sections had to do with accounting, not taxes at all. So a very small percentage, relatively, of the CPA curriculum, if you will, has to do with taxes at all right? And for me, in learning taxes to get my CPA license, I had an extremely hard time. And that's even with a great professor. Let me back up. When I was getting my MBA, I started taking some tax courses because at the end of the day, you do have to get some training in taxes to pass the CPA exam. And I had a great professor. Even so, I was so confused by the tax side. I literally thought that this is the reason, this class right here is going to be the reason why I fail out of my MBA program, because it did not click. Everything was totally different and requires you to use, I believe, a different section of your brain as opposed to GAAP, financial accounting, if you will. So from there, I already knew that I was never going to do taxes because I didn't get it. I barely made my way through the exams and it was just a mess. And if I could go back in time, what I would actually do is focus more on studying the tax side of things, even before I got my CPA license, just to really understand how the differences work in terms of comparing it to ordinary GAAP accounting. So what I'm saying is that if you're asking if becoming an EA is beneficial while you're on your way to the CPA credential, I'll give you 4 words. Absolutely. All right. Definitely. More education is always better than less education. That's number 1. Aside from that, you're never going to have too much tax knowledge, right? If you're studying for the EA exam, you have to remember, as opposed to the CPA exam that is arguably half of one section focused on taxes, the EA exam is all focused on taxes. There's 3 sections, all focused on federal tax. You will learn the ins and outs of business returns, personal returns, deductions, capital gains, ordinary income, different types of losses. It's a beautiful education. And one thing that you can't walk into the CPA exam with is too much knowledge. And I can tell you, if I'm hiring for a beginning tax preparer position or associate tax preparer and I see the EA credential, I get excited because I know that that person is able to navigate the ins and outs of the tax code much more easily than somebody who didn't bother going through with the EA credential. And ultimately, there's some EAs out there that will challenge some of the top CPAs in terms of their tax knowledge, if you want me to be real with you. With that, definitely get the EA, get it out of the way. You will be so much better prepared to be a CPA. Honestly, when I see that people have both, I'm doubly impressed. And I've had people in the past say, why did you get the EA and the CPA? It seems duplicative. They cover the same topics and you're a CPA. You're already a tax expert and the EA is just additional credential on top of that doesn't really add anything. Wrong. I disagree. I think that the EA gives you a world of knowledge that you do not get as a CPA. And quite frankly, a lot of CPAs don't know a tax return from their elbow, okay? Unless they specialize in the tax side. And even so, I've seen some EAs just really powerhouse it, all right? So don't underestimate that credential. It was a lot tougher than I anticipated, the EA exam. And overall, it was extremely eye-opening in terms of letting me really get down into the nitty-gritty understanding of the tax law and what the intent is behind a lot of the laws, how they work together, how they interact, and more importantly, how it differs from financial accounting. They say sometimes that it's good to be book smart and street smart. In this case, it's good to be tax smart and GAAP smart. All right, let's put it that way. And if that saying catches on, which it won't, I just want the credit. All right. With that, hopefully, Pedo 404, this video was helpful in adding some color and light on all of this. And if you're asking if it's a waste of time, absolutely not. Any other benefits, you're going to be almost too smart for your own good. All right, which is always a great thing. More education, always better than less education. And with that, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I love reading your comments. And also, if you've been watching my videos so far, let me know what you think of the new digs, okay? Because it took me a little while to put this together, even though it looks like I'm floating in a gray void. Hopefully, this is better than the other setup I had where I've heard some comments that were less than flattering, all right? So if you like this new setup, smash that like button. Let me know. More videos are coming. And hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching.